Good evening everybody. Welcome to the Programming Guide channel. This is Bhargavi. Now in this session we are going to discuss about the deadlock prevention. Prevention is nothing but taking of the precautions is nothing but deadlock prevention. That means in order to avoid your deadlock what we can do so that operating system will not get the deadlock state, right? So before that means what? Prevention is nothing but placing of restrictions on resource request. So whenever a process is requesting some of the resources, first we have to make the restrictions over that such that operating system will not enter into the deadlock state. So what are the restrictions? In how many number of ways we can give the restrictions on the resources for a particular process? Have 4 conditions, right? All those 4 conditions already we discussed. If you prevent that conditions, we can prevent the deadlock. The first one is mutual exclusion, preventing of hold and wait, preventing of non-preemption, preventing of circular wait. So expecting this, already we discussed about the mutual exclusion, hold and wait, non-preemption and circular wait. So if the circular wait is having the deadlock, if you prevent that, what will happen? The deadlock will not occur. If you have non-preemption is having deadlock, if you prevent the non-preemption concept, the deadlock will not be there. If hold and wait have the deadlock, if you are preventing that hold and wait conditions, so you will not having the deadlock. So mutual exclusion, for only non-shareable resources, the mutual exclusion will be there. So if you are having the deadlock condition, prevent that. What will happen? Deadlock prevention will be done. Clear? So first we will go with the mutual exclusion concept, right? So in the mutual exclusion concept, so the mutual exclusion will be hold for only non-shareable resources. So if you want to prevent your deadlock, we have to give the mutual exclusion only for the non-shareable resources. Consider example of printer. So printer is a non-shareable resource. So what is it? It is a non-shareable. Consider RAM. So RAM, or consider keyboard. So what is a keyboard? Keyboard is a shareable. So keyboard is a shareable, but whereas printer is a non-shareable. That means one process can only use the printer at the same time. The 2 processes want to use the same print will get an error. So that means a deadlock. So the mutual exclusion will be applicable for what? The mutual exclusion will only applicable for non-shareable resources. That means if you are using in the system non-shareable resources, we have to prevent that as a mutually exclusive. So that means for the non-shareable resources, mutual exclusion should be applied. Clear? So keyboard is shareable. So both the processes can use a keyboard at the same time, right? But printer cannot use at the same time, right? Next we go with the preventing hold and wait. So in order to prevent the hold and wait condition, what we need? Consider there is a process. Consider there is a process P1, there is a process P2, right? If the 2 processes we have, so the first, the P1 process is having 2 resources and process P3 having 3 resources. Consider, right? If both the process is having 2 and 3 resources, if now P1 is requesting one of the resource of P2, P2 is requesting one of the resource of P1. So then there will be a chance of occurrence of a deadlock, right? Already we discussed that hold and wait. But what we have to do to prevent the deadlock? We have to prevent the hold and wait. That means it can be done in 2 ways. The first way is before starting of execution of P1, before execution of P1, P1 has to inform the operating system that how many number of resources and what kind of resources it wants. So that operating system will give all the resources at the same time to the process, so that the process will execute the execution, right? That means after some of the process is executed. P1 is executing with the two resources. Now it want another resource. So in that case, the deadlock will occur. So in order to avoid, that means in order to prevent the deadlock, what we have to do? Process P1 has to inform. Process P1 has to know the prior information. That means before information, how many number of resources it want to the operating system. So if all the resources, what are the resources are referred by the P1 are free, then only all the resources will be given to the process P1. So P1 will execute the task. So if the P1 is completed the task, the remaining resources, the three resources will be allocated to the next two processes who is requesting. So in such cases, if you have the prior information, we can prevent the deadlock, right? So that is the first case. In the next case, what will happen? If P1 is having two resources and it is requesting one of the resource of P2. So what it has to do? If it is execution process is started and now it want another resource, in such situation, P1 has to release the P1 want to release the current resources. It has to release the resources, whatever the resources it has, and the two resources will be given to the operating system, and whatever the resource is requesting P1 from P2, that will be taken and give back to the P1. If P2 completes the task of three resources only, that means P1 is released the resources and waiting for the resources of 2 and one more from P2. So P1 has to wait unless P2 has to complete its work. So P2 completed its work and three resources will be given back to the operating system. Now your operating system will give the one of the resource of P2 and these two resources of P1 to back to the P1. Now P1 can execute the task. That means if P1 want execution of the task, prior information should be there so that we can prevent the deadlock. One thing. The other thing is what? If P1 want to execute, P1 already started execution, now it want one more resource. What it has to do? It had to release the current resources and given to the CPU. So when the CPU gets all the resources which are want by the P1, if available, then it will give back and execution will restart from there. That is preventing of hold and fail. Next, come back to the non-preemption. Non-preemption means what? Preemption means before completing of execution. Non-preemption means until unless process 1 is completed, P2 never enter into that. So in such situation, if P1 is executing for hours and hours, so there will be a deadlock. So what we have to do? We have to prevent that system. That means we have to avoid the non-preemption scheduling algorithm. Only we go for preemptive algorithms. That means if you are using non-preemptive algorithm, P1 will be in the operating system for hours. So P2 cannot enter into that. So what will happen? There will be a deadlock. So your operating system should choose the preemptive schedulings only. Preemptive scheduling is nothing but if a higher priority process comes, currently executing process will be swap out and the new process will be swapping. Later on, again P1 will be back to the operating system and executes the task. That we call it as a non-preemption algorithms should be used in the operating system. That is preventing of non-preemption. So wantedly we should take the resources from the process and given to the other resources so that there will not be a deadlock if you are applying the preemptive scheduling algorithms. Clear? And the next one and the last one is preventing circular wait. So what is mean by circular wait? Circular wait is nothing but one process is waiting for the some other process, that process is waiting for some other process. So already we discussed P1, P2, P3, P4. So P1 is requesting P2, P2 requesting P3, P3 requesting P4, P4 requesting P5. So if this is the thing, deadlock will occur. So what we have to do? We have to give the IDs for each and every process resources. If a process is requesting, for example, P1 is requesting R2. So what it has? It has a resource R2. So what is the process ID? P1. So we have, if a higher ID process, if higher ID resource is requested by the lower process, it has to release the currently holding resources. That means P1 is requesting R2 and having R1. So in this case, in order to avoid the deadlock, P1 must release the resource R1. Why? Because it is requesting the higher ID of resource R2. That means 2 is higher than 1. So first it must release the resource R1. Then later on request for R2. So if the R2 is free, operating system will give R2 and again back R1 to the P1. So P1 can execute. That means higher ID process, higher ID resources, if a process is requesting, it must release its resources. So P1 is requesting R2, 2 is higher than 1. So P1 has to release the resource R1, then request for R2. If the R2 is free, operating system will give the resources R2 as well as R1 to the process P1. So P1 will execute the task. Clear? So this is the preventing of circular wait. If any one of the condition is satisfied, then there will be no chance of occurrence of a deadlock. Any one of the condition is hold, any one of the condition is satisfied, then we can avoid that means we can prevent the deadlock. Clear? So this is about deadlock prevention. Thank you for watching my videos. If you like my video, please subscribe and share this video to your friends. Thank you.